Erev Tov Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi Masechet Shevuot. We are up to Perek Bet Mishnah Hey. Today's Mishnayot should be Le'ilui Nishmat, Neria ben Svetlana Ranbai, Veliyahu ben Burcha Israelov, Chana bat Miriam, Sason ben Ryan, Yoshua ben Shifra, Menuchatam beGan Eden, Amen. And Avdi ben Chaim lechaim, v'derefua shelemav, Daniel Shalom ben Rosa, betoch Shachol Yisrael, and Achlama Merav Binyamin, Old Sion Chai ben Dvorah. The Mishnah returns to its original topic, the conditions under which a person brings an offering for Tumah of the temple and its holy things. Mishnah 1 stated that he is obligated to bring the offering whether he sinned as a result of forgetting that he was Tameh or forgetting that the place he was entering was the temple. Our Mishnah now cites the opinions of two Tanaim who disagree and say that the offering is brought only by someone who forgets that he is Tameh, not by someone who forgets that he is entering the temple. The first opinion, Rabbi Eliezer says, Hasheretz v'ne'elam mimenu, the verse states in Vayikra chapter 5 verse 2, or if a person touches anything that is tameh, whether the carcass of or the carcass of a sheretz, and it was forgotten by him. A sheretz is any of the 8 creeping creatures whose carcasses the Torah considers to be a source of tumah. Now the full verse reads, or if a person touches anything that is tameh, whether the carcass of a wild animal that is tameh, or the carcass of a domestic animal that is tameh, or the carcass of a sheretz that is tameh, and it was forgotten by him, and he was tameh, and he became guilty to entering the temple or eating an offering. The verses that follow, verses 5 to 10, state that he brings a variable chatat offering for this unintentional sin. Al helem sheretz chayav ve'eno chayav al helem mikdash. This teaches that a person is obligated to bring the offering only for forgetting the sheretz, meaning forgetting that he had become tameh by touching a sheretz and then entering the temple, but he is not obligated to bring an offering for forgetting that the place he was entering was the temple while remembering that he was tameh. From the fact that the verse specifies the tumah of a sheretz, although it is included in the earlier statement, anything that is tameh, Rabbi Eliezer derives 2 things. A, that the offering is brought only for forgetting the tumah and not for forgetting the temple, and B, that the offering is brought only if the person originally knew which kind of tumah has made him tameh, for example, a sheretz, and not merely that he was tameh. Similarly, in the case of eating holy foods while tameh, Rabbi Eliezer obligates him to bring an offering only if he forgot his tumah, not if he forgot that the food he was eating was tameh, was holy. According to Rabbi Eliezer, the variable chatat offering is brought only for forgetting the tumah, not for any other factor. The second opinion, Rabbi Akiva says, V'ne'elam mimenu v'hu tameh. The verse cited above states, and it was forgotten by him, and he was tameh. Al helem tumah chayav ve'eno chayav al helem mikdash. This teaches that a person is obligated to bring the offering only for forgetting the tumah and then entering the temple, but he is not obligated to bring an offering for forgetting that the place he was entering was the temple while remembering that he was tameh. Rabbi Akiva learns this from the fact that the Torah puts the words, and it was forgotten from him, next to the words, and he was tameh. According to Rabbi Akiva, we learn from this verse just one thing, that the offering is brought for forgetting the tumah, but not for forgetting the temple. The verse does not teach us anything about knowing which kind of tumah made him tameh. Now, Rabbi Akiva agrees with Rabbi Eliezer that the offering is not brought for forgetting that the place being entered is the temple. He disagrees with them only about knowing the source of the tumah. According to Rabbi Akiva, it is not necessary for him to have known which kind of tumah he had. It is enough that he once knew he was tameh. According to Rabbi Eliezer, he must also have originally known what type of tumah had made him tameh. Therefore, if there was a question whether he had become tameh from a sheretz or from a nevelah, which is an animal that died without proper shchita, and he later forgot his tumah and entered the temple, he would not bring an offering according to Rabbi Eliezer, since he never knew which type of tumah he had. The Mishnah now cites the view of a third Tana, whose opinion is the source of the ruling in Mishnah 1. Rabbi Ishmael says, V'ne'elam shte pa'amim. The Torah states, and it was forgotten from him, and it was forgotten from him. The Torah states this phrase twice, verses 2 and 3 there. Lechayev al helem tumah v'al helem mikdash. To obligate a person to bring the offering, both for forgetting the tumah and for forgetting the temple. And the Rav tells us that halacha follows the opinion of Rabbi Ishmael. And that is in a Perek Bet, Mishnah Hey. The Mishnah now returns to its discussion of oaths, the primary topic of this tractate. This chapter Gimel, chapter 3, deals with the oath known as Shevuot Bitui, oath of declaration. This is an oath in which a person swears either to do something or not to do something in the future, or that he did something or did not do something in the past. A person who violates his oath unintentionally must atone for his sin by bringing a special kind of sin offering known as korban ule v'yored, a variable offering. This is taught by the Torah in the following verse in Vaikra chapter 5 verse 4. If a person will swear, declaring with his lips to do harm or to do good, anything that a person will declare in an oath and it is forgotten from him and he then becomes aware of it and he becomes guilty. The expression "and he becomes guilty" means that after forgetting his oath, he violates it and therefore becomes guilty. The Torah then goes on to say that for violating his oath about the future or swearing falsely about the past, he must bring a variable chatat offering to atone. Perek Gimel Mishnah Aleph begins this chapter by repeating the opening statement of the first chapter. Shevuot Shtaim Shen Arba, oaths of declaration are of two types that are in reality four. Shevuah she'ochal v'shelo ochal, I swear that I will eat or I swear that I will not eat. Now these two oaths which concern the future are mentioned explicitly in the Torah in Vaikra chapter 5 verse 4, which states, if a person will swear to do harm or to do good, the oath I swear that I will eat is an example of an oath to do good. The oath I swear that I will not eat is an example of an oath to do harm. She'achalti v'shelo achalti, I swear that I ate or I swear that I did not eat. These two oaths which concern the past are learned from extra words in the verse cited above. A person violates these oaths if the sworn statements are untrue. He swore that he had eaten but he had not, or he swore that he had not eaten but he had. The Mishnah cites a disagreement concerning how much a person must eat to be liable for violating the oath, I swear that I will not eat. Shevuah shelo ochal v'achal kol shu chayav, divrei Rabbi Akiva. If a person says, I swear that I will not eat, and he ate even the smallest amount, he is liable. These are the words of Rabbi Akiva, meaning he is obligated to bring a variable chatat offering for violating the oath unintentionally, and he receives malkut for violating intentionally, even for the smallest amount, according to Rabbi Akiva. Amrulu Rabbi Akiva, the sages said to Rabbi Akiva, Hechan matzinu be'ochel kol shu chayav shezeh chayav. Where do we ever find that someone who eats the smallest amount of forbidden food is liable? Then we should say that this person who violates his oath should be liable for eating such a small amount. There is a general rule that a person is not liable to malkut for eating forbidden foods unless he eats a kazait, the size of an olive of the food. Why then, the rabbis tell Rabbi Akiva, should oaths be different? Again, where do we ever find that someone who eats the smallest amount of forbidden food is liable? That we should say that this person who violates his oath should be liable for eating such a small amount. Amar len Rabbi Akiva said to them, where do we ever find that a person who speaks brings an offering to atone for a prohibition he himself created that would serve as a model for this person speaking, making an oath, and bringing an offering for violating the prohibition he himself created? Offerings are generally brought only for sins that the Torah established. In regard to those sins that the Torah establishes a minimal amount of transgression, before a person is obligated to bring an offering. Here, however, a person brings an offering for violating a prohibition he himself created. It therefore makes sense to say that he should be liable for the amount he intends to forbid. Since the Torah does give a person the power to create his own prohibitions and then holds him responsible for violating them, it also holds him responsible for eating the smallest amount, since he intended to prohibit even small amounts. Rabbi Akiva holds that when a person swears not to eat, he means to say that he will not eat even the smallest amount. Since this is the meaning of his oath, he is guilty of violating it even by eating the smallest amount. The sages, however, disagree. They hold that when a person swears not to eat, he does not intend to make his new prohibition stricter than the Torah's other eating prohibitions. Since the Torah defines eating as eating a kazait, we assume that a person making an oath not to eat means the same thing. Now, a single oath may sometimes prohibit a number of related activities. The Mishnah now begins a series of cases that will illustrate when such an oath is considered a single oath and when it is considered a number of separate oaths. Shevuah shelo ochal v'achal v'shata. If a person says, I swear that I will not eat, and then forgetting his oath, he thought he had sworn to eat rather than not to eat, he ate and drank, thereby violating his oath twice, and no chayav ela achat. he is obligated to bring only one offering because several violations of the same oath are all atoned for with one offering. An oath not to eat includes not drinking. The same would be true if he ate twice. This is so only if both violations took place during a single period of forgetfulness. Since they all resulted from the same mistake, forgetting the oath, one offering is enough to atone for all of them. However, if he realized at some point that he violated his oath and then forgot it again and ate or drank once more, the second violation would require a separate offering. However, if a person says, I swear that I will not eat and that I will not drink, and forgetting his oaths he ate and drank, he is obligated to bring two offerings because he is considered to have made two oaths and he violated both of them. And that is in Abotai of today's Mishna Yomi. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.